And once again, we are delivered a very fascinating set of circumstances here in the United States of America. So some of you might be seeing the various channels that report on this, starting to talk about that the commercial real estate market is starting to crumble. That there's buildings basically, and that what was it? Michael Cowan. So Michael invests and attempts to make money, if I remember, is the way the channel was. Now it's Michael Cowan, the Australian. He actually did a great thing where he was talking about the various firms that would run, that own certain variety of properties, just turning over the keys. They're now it's starting to become that keys are being turned over to the lenders. The lenders are then pricing them down like 25%, double-digit percents. It's all starting at double-digit percents from what he was saying, if I remember most of the numbers he was citing. So buildings that were 120 million, that would be 66 million on the market now in major urban areas. That's what's happening to the real estate. So the issue is that it starts to mean that all the other real estate goes down in value. So if there's people who they thought they were going to own a home in like Portland, Seattle, San Francisco, Emeryville, like a place like Emeryville is going to be hit very hard by this. That's a great example. Anyone who's in the Bay Area, like that, they're going to get hit because of how that's like this kind of area that it's, the more that people own and they stay in ownership, the better it's going to get there. But if people end up having to sell their homes or they're underwater, that it's disaster for a place like that. And you just have to have lived there to have seen how that panned out before. And what the aftermath was like and how long it took Emeryville to come back. So that's the first part. So you have this problem starting with the real estate in what are going to be these clusters of blue voters, and who's going to buy these buildings. So then it's going to become, well, what do we do with the buildings? There's going to be a lot of people are going to ask, well, what do we do with these buildings now? Like, why are we waiting on Superman to come in, or, the $1 billion man, the $4 million man, whatever, to come through and save us? Why don't we convert these to, as London Breed already has said, in the laboratory space? People are going to say things like, greenhouses, vertical greenhouse kind of stuff, things like that. There's going to be a wide variety of them. But you can't make a building different. You can't make it do something different really effectively. It starts to do, at some point, destroys the building. It just is the basis of it. At some point, it's going to destroy the building. So, but that's going to be so that's going to come up. Why don't we do something different? Now, that's a rational explanation. You can't really repurpose these very much. They're just not made that way. Present to people, it's just a technology that you can't really make do that. It's a technological problem. But that's not going to be acceptable. And then it's going to be the fight about, it's going to be a political fight. And there's going to be people with kind of crazy ideas that you could repurpose these buildings. There's going to be people who are like, you can't repurpose these structures. They really don't work that way. And there, and there'll be a variety of these kind of things. But then it's going to become clear who controls your party, because that keeps being a problem. Who controls the Democratic Party really? Because there's kind of this mythology that it's in the hands of the various kind of local voting groups and stuff like that. But that's the, but but that's been shown to not really be true. And yeah, it's. I know a lot of you remember the whole history of George Webb and all the stuff he got involved in and how he got involved in it. But he's one of the people who is involved in the Bernie Sanders lawsuit, and what he ended up finding out through that lawsuit has changed a lot of people's understanding of how everything works. And so that's one of the things, is that a lot of us know that the Democratic Party is hardwired to kind of really not just not do what the local people want, like the single voting person, like what's really in their interest. It's like kind of hardcore how hard they screw you. I mean, it's like amazing. And after decades of seeing it, you're kind of amazed, and then you realize, well, that's why writers are paid so much, to kind of shill for them, and to kind of make it like, no, nobody understands. They're really trying, but it's the system, and da-da-da. It's like after a few decades, they're like, no. They're bamboozling us again. They're just trying to figure out how to get their cut. The Republican Party is made to get taken over from the bottom up, and they can't remake it so that it won't do that. And that's what's been so fun, is watching, like, I mean, totally, like, yahoos, even taking over things. And, but they get popularly elected. That's American. And that's so offensive to, like, the highly educated middle-class Democrats who are endlessly moderate about stuff, to actually see that the yahoos can get power, but only in one party. Because that party actually allows for there to be that kind of representation if people want it. And that's, and that's inherently us, America, and that's wonderful. And so it's this fight is going to be interesting to see, because it's going to be all within the Democrats what to do with these buildings, because once these buildings have no takers at all, then it gets real bad. That's when people's whole neighborhoods the prices drop to really low numbers. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see.